Hey guys, Dave here. We're going to be talking about fueling up your gas and electric cars today on the road. So when traveling long distances, you're out on the highway and you're traveling a long distance, you're going to need to stop for fuel sometime. A lot of times fuel isn't available at every exit, especially when you're out on the highway someplace, and you have to be a little bit more selective to look for your fuel. A lot of times apps are available for your phone to find lower cost gas. Typically, you're going to find most gasoline along the highway to be a higher price than what you'd find away from the highway, say in a town or something. And the app will help you find that, but it does take you off of the highway to do that. So along the highway, it's a little different than being in a city where there's almost a gas station on every corner. But when it comes to electric vehicles, you'll find that the car, at least the Tesla, will allow you to pre-plan your trip, not only give you navigation information, but also tell you where to stop. So here's how we set it up. Typically, we're looking at the screen, as you see here. The screen shows our current position, and usually a voice command, or it can be manual, but we'll try with a voice command here. Take me to Chicago, Illinois. So once a car takes my commands, it wants to know where it goes. So we're just going to arbitrarily pick here in the middle of town as a place to go. Now it's going to calculate my current location, and it's going to also calculate my current charge. At this point, there's 266 miles of range here in the car, and as it calculates the stops, it will tell us where to stop and for how long it takes to charge. So here's the list. So from where I live, it's going to take us north to Asheville, North Carolina. Asheville from here is about 45 miles, and it's going to want me to charge. And when I arrive, you notice that it's 68%. And it tells me I have to charge for 20 minutes. So the next stop when we leave Asheville, it'll want to take us along Highway 40 until we reach 75 and go north into Kentucky. It's going to tell us we need to stop in London, Kentucky, and it's saying we need to stop for about 50 minutes to get a charge. And then the next stop, of course, will be Louisville, Kentucky, and that's an hour charge. And then Lafayette, Indiana for a 40-minute charge. And then back here to Chicago, Illinois. We arrived there with 18% of our energy in the car. Now, the navigation system is set up for planning our trip. But if I decide I want to go somewhere else, I want to go, say, to Evansville here or up to Cincinnati, the software will automatically reorganize my planned trip and hook me up with an available supercharger along the way. Now, what makes a supercharger? A supercharger is a DC fast charger, and it's usually set up for Teslas. None of the other car manufacturers have their own network. They rely on third-party networks such as ChargePoint, Blink, and a random number of other systems out there. A new one on the scene is the Electrify America people. They're actually an arm of Volkswagen. As you know, Volkswagen got busted for cheating on diesel, and as a recompense, they end up having to pay $2 billion with a B dollars. And they're supposed to spend that money in setting up charging stations for electric cars. Well, they've chose to adopt the CCS standard, which is not a Tesla standard, and they also provide a system called CHAdeMO. CHAdeMO is a standard that the Leaf uses and several other cars. It's also DC fast charging, but it starts at about 50 kilowatts, and some stations are purported to be 100 kilowatts, but we don't see too many of those. Electrify America people are starting to deploy their network. It's supposed to be about 200 million a year, And I'm not sure how many stations, but if you go to electrifyamerica.com, you can see their current plans. Now, they've deployed a bunch of proposed sites and a few installs, and I think they're supposed to have a lot more, but they have 10 years in their plan to set that out. So that could be a charging opportunity for you, depending on what vehicle that you're actually driving. So those are the sites available. However, I'm fortunate with my Tesla. I can charge anywhere. I can charge from 110 volts. Of course, it's very slow. And I can charge from 240 volts, and I can do that at what's called a level 2 charger. A level 2 charger, of course, and that's available at an application available for your phone called PlugShare. PlugShare shows a bunch of available chargers for electric cars, and depending upon the electric car you choose, you can or cannot charge it there. And if you do, depending upon how much energy is available at a charger, you'll be able to charge faster or slower. Typically with the Tesla superchargers, they're DC fast charging, and they charge up to about 120 kilowatts. But if you would connect your car to a 50 kilowatt charger, such as a CHAdeMO or CHAdeMO charger, you would be able to charge your car, but at a fraction of what you would at the supercharger. And what does that do? That translates into more charge time. Instead of 40 minutes, it may be an hour and 40 minutes, depending upon the state of charge when you arrive or the amount of charge that you want on the way out. Couple special things about the supercharger. You notice the supercharger gives us some times here. It calculates when I arrive at a supercharger, it will calculate how long it takes to charge to get me to the next planned supercharger. So I'm not charging to 100%. I may only charge to 65% or whatever the computer decides. And that way it quickly gets me to the next charge place. I spend the minimum amount of time and on to the destination. By scrolling up here, you can see that our whole total trip is 695 miles, 13 hours and 12 minutes, including charge time. I don't know about you, but my bladder won't hold out over 250 miles. Now, if you're 18 or 20 years old, heck, you can drive that whole 695 without going to the bathroom. But I'm here to tell you, as you get a little older, couple hundred miles is good. Besides, you sit in the car for 3 or 4 hours at a time between chargers. That's what it is. So there you go. The fossil fuel, you stop at gas stations along the way. There'll be a little higher cost near the interstate. And then when you get there, you fuel up and on down the road. And of course, with an electric car, you do need to stop and charge. You want to look for a DC fast charger, and that will get you charged and on the road, providing your car takes DC fast charging, because some cars don't. I know that the Chevy Bolt has an option to do DC fast charging, and I'm not sure that a lot of people actually buy the $750 option. But if you do plan to travel, that's what you need. Somebody asked me the question the other day. They said, hey, do I understand when you buy an electric car that you actually get to drive around, you charge it at home and drive around and have to get back home to charge it? Absolutely not. If you have a car that has DC fast charging, such as a Tesla, coupled with the superchargers as you see here, and if you look at the map of superchargers, it's quite amazing to see exactly where the superchargers are. So in this case, let me see if I can get out of here. In this case, it's going to show me, let me cancel this trip here, and it's going to show the map, okay? And so we'll zoom out on the map here so you can see all of the superchargers available in America. Now, with North America, I can just get that in here. All these red dots here on the screen are superchargers. They're usually spaced along the interstates, but in crowded cities like here in Los Angeles and San Francisco, or down where I am here in the southeast, up here in the northeast and around Chicago, you're going to find more superchargers in around large cities and more population concentration. However, Anywhere you want to go, you set your plan and it goes. So let's see where we're going here now. Okay, ready? Take me to Tesla in Fremont, California. So obviously this is a long ways away, and we're going to say, yep, this is the one we want to go. And of course the thing is recording my voice because I pressed it twice, but it'll go ahead and stop. So as I calculate the charge path from where I'm at here now in North Carolina, I am going to calculate our distance and our charge stops all the way to Fremont, California. You can go anywhere in North America. In fact, if you look here down into Mexico, you can actually travel down into Mexico and up into Canada using the supercharger network, which is absolutely fantastic. So it's continuing to calculate, and the reason it takes a little while is it figures out the distance between charges, figures out the duration I need to be there, and of course it figures out our location and the path we're going to take to actually get there. Remember, this is about 2,500 miles of travel, and here we are. So as you can see here on the map, we start out here in North Carolina, we go down through Alabama, Mississippi, through Texas, maybe just miss Oklahoma, New Mexico, up into Arizona, and right up into Fremont, California. I actually took this trip in the Model X I have, and I'll probably post a video on that. But you see, it's really unlimited to wherever you go. It tells you your charging stops, where and when, the approximate arrival times, and I arrive at 901 Page Avenue in Fremont. It's 2,685 miles, 52 hours and 2 minutes of travel time, and that does include all your charge stops. So an electric car doesn't mean you get to travel around the house. It means that you have unlimited wherever you want to go. You point your car that direction and the car will tell you where it needs to charge. So that's the new modern electric car, and this is a Model 3 Tesla that I'm in. However, a Model X or a Model S will do the same thing. So that's it. So one more thing. Each Tesla owner has what's called a referral code. The referral code is something that we can pass to folks that do not have a Tesla, that are contemplating buying a Tesla. And if the information I provide you made you want to buy a Tesla, and you're ready to buy a Tesla, you might want to use my code. Now, my code is a code or a link, and I'm showing both there now. And this link will take you to a special web page. Now, the only caveat is the program is going away February 1, 2019. What you get is 6 months of free supercharging, and you'll get an extra 3 months if you don't take a official test ride in a Tesla. So that'll end up with 9 months of free supercharging. I would appreciate it if you'd use my code if you think that I helped you. So thanks again, have a great day, and thanks for watching.